Okay, morning guys. So today I'm going to show you how to create a mind map, a digital version of a mind map. So rather than doing handwritten, there's another way of having like a nice, clean, crisp presentation, like you see here, this mind map. So it's quite clear. There's images on there, so small thumbnail images. There's the title of your project on there. This series, there's all different ways in which you can do. So I'm going to show you how to create one today. So it's going to look similar to this. So first of all, if you already have a decent font that you want to use, that's totally fine. But if not, try and look on defonts. You want to look on like sort of free downloaded sort of versions. So I usually use defont because it's obviously one of the best out there. So you can then search for sort of like the styles you want. So if you want them to be fancy, you can look down. I'm going to go for some sort of calligraphy style one. So it's quite curvy, quite fluent. Bearing in mind though, if you are choosing sort of a font from defont, you want to try and keep them all uniform. So the title of all your work, so for example, your artist research, your recordings, which are your drawings that you're going to do, you want to try and keep them in the same font. So say let's go for hello. So I'm going to download it. You click the download. I go into my downloaded section and I'm going to click on the folder. So with mine being a Mac, and if you're using Windows, you want to go for the ones that either have .ttf or .otf. So I'm going to I'm going to double click, and all I need to do is click install. So it'll start then to go into my font gallery from there. So if I open up my PowerPoint, I'm going to have my new slide. So you want to try and sort of like have as little on as possible. So let's go title only on this one. Also, as you can see here, with all the different types of sort of like fancy backgrounds and everything they have, you don't really want to be going for them, because if you were to sort of like choose this one, it takes away from what you're trying to look for, which is the title of your project and your mind map. So you want to go for a plain one. So let me go back. So I'm going to type the word mind map. Make sure you spell it right as well, guys. So refer to your booklet if needs be. And the name of my font was Hello. So I'm going to type it here and automatically it changes, as you can see. So our title could be probably no more than 72. You don't want it too big. And obviously with it being a mind map, the majority of your time you could probably put it in the centre of your page. So all I'm going to do now is use my text box, the arrow tool, to put it in the centre of my page. So from there, I'm going to start to insert a few arrows on there. Obviously, they're the arrows that you're going to be referring to for spreading out your work. So if I go to insert, if I go to my shapes, I'm just going to click on my arrow. So from here, I then now can sort of change the length of it. So if I want them really long, if I want them really small, can change my angles. So through a computer, it's quite easy to change the way something looks. So if you used to do something paper-based, you need to take a little bit more time and effort in terms of sort of like, do I want that arrow there? Do I want something else there? So if you double click on this as well, guys, you can change the colour of yours. So I'm going to go black, I think, to keep it sort of like more uniformed. And I want them just to be that little bit more thicker so you can see what I'm doing. So again, from there, I've got my arrow. So if I refer back to the mind map, that gives you a to-do list. So I'm going to get my to-do list up. So I've got my mind map. I'm going to put it here, so refer to it. So my first one that you need to be looking at is artist names. So when you're looking sort of like on the internet, etc., you just want to look at sort of maybe artist names. So your best way of doing that is probably through Pinterest. So through Pinterest, you might just want to look for, if I'm doing collections, I might just type in collections artwork, and I'm going to start to scroll through and go, oh, I quite like that image. So for example, this one where you've got quite collections of work, and then you just need to see if I can see an artist research name on there. And the same goes if you were just to go into the internet as well. So I was just to type in collections artwork style. Let's see what comes up. So if I go to my images, I then start to look at sort of artists. So I think, oh, I quite like that one. I need to just try and see if there's an artist in there as well. So when you're searching, that's all you're searching for. So you just want a series of artist names. So again, I will look for, and it might not work, you put in collections artwork styling, for example. So just put collections art. But you might get a series of collections. So for example, this one, this is quite a popular one. So I know that that is Georgina look. So I'm going to go to my PowerPoint. I'm going to put insert. I'm going to put a text box, and I'm going to put artist names. So my artist names, I'm then going to have some smaller arrows. So again, I can still do the same process where I go insert, I can go to my shape, and then I can create one that way. Or another way of doing it is if you click onto your arrow, you is to copy, paste. You now can use that same one that you've changed the thickness and you've changed the colour of it onto a variety of your other ones. So artist name, I'm going to go to my text box and I'm going to put Georgina Look, because that was the name of the artist that I've used. So again, I might want to change the shape of some, change the font of some of my image, some of my words on there. So if you remember, hello is the font that I used. So again, I've now kept it quite uniform. So from there, you can keep these ones in terms of the artist names, those ones that you're looking at in terms of the bullet points. So your artist names, your objects and places, etc. to photograph, those could just be a different font than what you do on there. So I then would copy and paste, and then I'm going to do different ones again. So I can paste that again because it's obviously copied. So I'm going to change the direction, so bring it back round and bring it back down here. Okay, so then again I'd put more in there. So if I go to my second bullet point now, again, objects, places to photograph, I might just do an arrow. So again, you'll copy, you'll paste, and I'm going to bring it into another direction of my page. So I've got another bit of a blank space. So then if I do my insert and text box, I might just put objects to make it a little bit more sort of simpler. So from objects, remember if you was to look sort of like on the internet again, you might just look at collections art and you might do a list of images that you can see there. So food being one of them. So if I was to go back to my PowerPoint, a new arrow in my objects, it might be me listing now every single thing that I might consider. So remember guys, it doesn't mean that you have to do all these, you're considering them. So when the moderator and the examiners see your work, they can see you've taken all different aspects into consideration before you've even sort of like done it. So don't just think, oh, I don't like food, I don't want to put it on my list. If I'm doing collections, for example, just put it there as a consideration, and then you'll start to see the more you get on there. So for images, if I look on collections art and I see something that I think, you know what, I quite like the style in which they've worked in that, and that's something that I want to sort of like continue with. Say I click on an image, I quite like the lineup and the sort of how it's patterned and how it's put together in sort of a sequential pattern. I'm then gonna use the image, so I'm gonna copy my image, I'm gonna go back to my PowerPoint, and I'm gonna paste it in. I do not need them massive. So you want to make your thumbnails, if you like, very small. So all you're going to do is fit them into the actual space that way. Does that make sense? So then we'll go for another image. So instead of putting collections art, you might want to put collections style of artwork. All different variations of you put in your search column, you're going to get different work that comes up there as well. So then all you do is then copy and paste them into there. So let's say, I like the repeat pattern of the Mona Lisa. So I'll copy the image and I'll paste it. So again, we're not having it too big. We're going to make it a small thumbnail positioned around your work. And that is how you're going to create your mind map. So again, your title size, you do not want bigger than a 72 amount, and you make sure that your arrows are uniformed. So once you've completed one arrow in the thickness that you like and the colour that you like, you'll then copy and paste it from there. And all you're going to do is fill it to create your space like so. Okay, thank you for watching.